Hey everybody, you're now listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited we have Natasha, who is the owner and founder of Entire Productions, the go-to experience design, event, and entertainment production company in San Francisco. Entire Productions has been on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in America for 3 years in a row. Natasha is a proud graduate of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses and studied entrepreneurship at the Harvard Business School and MIT.
Natasha shares with us key ways to enter and maintain a stronger entrepreneurial spirit. From being abandoned at the age of 16 to growing a multi-million-dollar company, Natasha knows a thing or two about being relentless in the pursuit of your dreams. She shares more of this in her upcoming book, Relentless.
So grab your cup and enjoy.
Hi. Hold on a sec. Look at you guys. So smart. Woo! Sorry. I made this background last night and I forgot it's up. It scared me.
I love it. Okay, this is
going to work.
I kind of think it's perfect.
Yes.
Here, this is what it actually. Hold on.
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome. We need to read your book.
Yes.
We're so excited.
Oh, it's so intense. Oh my God.
So exciting though. And we cannot wait to hear more about you and everything that you have done.
Where are you guys from? Are you from Canada?
Can you tell? We're not Canadian, but we are North Dakota. So it's very, very close.
Yeah.
I'm from Iowa, but
Are you?
we don't have that accent. But definitely I got it. I caught something.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so funny. You're, I think, the first person that has said that because we've had.
I'm also a musician, so I'm always. I hear things.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, funny.
That is so fun. Okay, well, let's dive in. Tell us about everything you got going on because you have a lofty list of different things that you are just knowledgeable on and have accomplished in your life. And so we want to hear all about it.
Yes. So, I mean, I love talking about business, about scaling and growing businesses. Of course, with the book coming out, I would like to talk about that and how to be resilient, but not only resilient, but also relentless in your endeavors and, pursuing your dreams. Otherwise, you might not get anywhere.
Yeah. So what got you into this? Like, tell us from that initial trajectory where you decided to take this career path?
I did not decide to take this career path. It decided to take me. I was a classically trained violinist. Okay. That was what sort of catapulted me out of high school into college, full ride scholarships. I always wanted to sing more than play the violin. My secret dream was to be on Broadway, which was funny because I don't dance and I don't act. I've never been in a play, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I ended up recording 7 CDs of music and performing for corporate and social events with both my jazz ensemble and my string quartet. And then it just ended up becoming an entertainment production company. Without a business license, without a business plan, without anything. It was just kind of a DIY business. And then eventually it started to scale and grow. I learned a lot. I took classes, I got mentors and advisors. And as I matured, the business matured. And then it got to the point where I couldn't perform anymore. I couldn't do both huge things that take a lot of brain power, bandwidth, emotion. So about 5 years ago, I think I did my last concert and I'm looking at my wall of all these CDs that I've recorded. But with this book launch, I'm kind of going back into performing because what I'm doing to support the book is a hybrid keynote presentation performance where some of the songs that I've written or recorded weave into the story of my life. So you'll never see me. Well, that's not true. When I'm talking about the book, you'll never see me on stage just talking about the book or just doing a reading. There's always going to be a little performance element to it.
Oh my gosh.
That's so neat.
We are we are big Broadway fans. We just went to New
Love
York.
Broadway.
We went to Phantom of the Opera,
Yeah.
which it just was like the tiniest taste of that. But I feel like that is such a cool concept to incorporate that element within your book.
Totally.
And it's in the audiobook too. I just recorded the Audible version and we're going to lay in songs into that.
Oh gosh.
Cool. So for our listeners that don't know, tell us a little bit about your book, Relentless. Tell us, kind of the backstory to it, what readers can expect when either reading or listening to it.
Well, there's a whole trigger warning in the front of the book, which if you summed up my life to the trigger warnings, it would be pretty sad. You don't put trigger warnings for the happiness and the joy part. So it really does balance out. But it's the story of my life, having grown up in Des Moines, Iowa, in a pretty dysfunctional situation. I had my mother was very, let's just call it what it was, very mean to me. And I didn't grow up with any safety or stability and was literally abandoned at the age of 16 into a youth shelter on Christmas Day. And that's after chasing me around the house, threatening to kill me. Now, she had threatened to kill me pretty much my whole life, but for some reason that day, it really felt like this could be it.
Wow.
So I called 911 for the first time in my life and have been on my own since then. So the rest of the book goes through my entrepreneurial endeavors. I was a classically trained violinist, the concertmaster of symphony, while being in a homeless youth shelter after being abandoned by. So none of it makes sense. It's very ironic. I think, someone said, your story is like a roller coaster on steroids. And then another person replied, a roller coaster, it's a whole amusement park.
Wow.
But look
So
what it's become.
I can say that in jest now looking back, but it was a little nuts. And reading it for the Audible on Monday and Tuesday, I just started to look at my life and think, that is crazy.
That is such an awesome way to take what your cards were dealt and make it into something so incredible. And I'm sure you maybe talk about this within your book, but something that I personally think is such a big accomplishment is being included in the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies. I mean, that is insane. So tell us about how you got on that list.
Yes.
What that means to you.
I saw other entrepreneurs having that accolade over the years, and I never thought I had access to that kind of an award. And in 2015, I did the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, and I had an incredible advisor at that time. And between all of that, I learned so much finally. I didn't take the time to learn before. I thought doing it yourself and making up your own rules as an entrepreneur made me cool. It didn't make me cool. I mean, it kind of did, but it made me behind the times.
Sure.
So when I took this course and I started really zoning into my advisors, guess what happened? My business scaled and grew by 65% year over year. So Can you imagine where I would have been had I had that knowledge and put it into action years before? It's okay. I don't regret it. But right now, one of the things I really love doing is helping entrepreneurs lay down that foundation. Yes, you can be creative. You can bootstrap. You can be scrappy. But if you don't learn how to run a business, you don't learn that foundation, you're screwing yourself. And you know what the shortcut is to incredible wealth and success and being on the Inc. 5000 list is do the work.
Yeah.
It would have been so much shorter for me had I done that. And then I went on to study through the Entrepreneurs Organization, which I belong. They have entrepreneurial master courses at MIT and Harvard. And so now if I see an opportunity like that, even as many millions of dollars as I've made, even though we're, profitable, even though, I'm taking those learning opportunities.
I love that.
I love that you never want to stop growing and never stop learning. I think that's awesome. And that's, I think, useful for everybody, to continue to grow and do your best.
It's also exciting. I mean, how boring would it be to know everything and
Totally.
then just sit around?
Yeah, I agree. So what are top 3 things that you've learned and that, different things that you would suggest for an entrepreneur and how they could grow their company?
Okay, so definitely, first of all, take a course by somebody who knows business, preferably someone that has had their own business and had success. Professors and teachers that haven't had their own business can give you good information. I think it's better to hear from someone that has done it before.
Totally.
And take what they say that they've experienced versus their advice. Because advice without that experience back up is just a shot in the dark. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're working hard and you really want to scale and grow, if you don't have your systems and processes outlined, fine-tuned, and written down, and preferably on video, so that it can be a continually repeated situation and it's easy to train people as you grow, that is something you absolutely have to stop now and do. Now, you're going to say, maybe if you don't have these, I don't know what that means. I don't know what those are. I don't know how I could possibly, what I do is so complicated. I couldn't possibly put it into a system. BS. Right? Sorry, not absolutely not true. And if it's that complicated, there's a challenge there. You need to simplify. And the second thing is, which really should be the first thing, if you have a business and you have people that work with you, which is really the only way you can really scale and grow, is the people. They're the most challenging element of running a business and the most important.
Totally.
And I didn't quite really experience the understanding of that until the pandemic. So I'm just admitting to everybody that I've been in business for 20 years and I've understood the concept, but I didn't understand the reality of the people coming first. And I'll say it in a different way. As an entrepreneur, if you're a true entrepreneur and not just trying to have a job within your business and working in your business every day, as a true entrepreneur, you have to remove yourself from the main parts of the business that make it run. You can't be responsible for the sales, the marketing, and managing your people. If you are, you're in a vulnerable state. And it's very hard to wrap your mind around when you're new or mid-size, or if you're working day to day. So I was working in my business with clients every day up until maybe a year before COVID. I had just as much on my plate as my other employees. And as I learned, I started to back up and peel off some responsibilities. And I can happily say that today, right now, as I speak to you, I work on my business, not in it day to day. I do not work with clients directly. And about 15% of my time is spent on entire productions as a visionary and a strategist.
Wow.
So what's left? The people, my people.
So how did you, I think that is so interesting, but I do also think, I'm thinking of our listeners who we talk to so many women who have started their businesses and it's their babies. I mean, it's what they've grown and it's hard to not be so attached to that. So how do you take that step back and allow those people to take care of what it is that is so important to you that you built from the ground up? How do you do that?
It's a leap and the net will appear scenario. And if you can't remove your ego from what you created, you're going to be stuck in it. You're going to be stuck for a while. Your growth, you won't see the growth that you really want to see. And as soon as you understand that letting go, delegating, training, teaching your people what they need to know, and then allowing their experience, their creativity, their unique position to help catapult what you're doing into the world, follow their lead, listen to what they say. Where do they want and where do they see the business going? You would be amazed. And I thought I had to do it all by myself up until 2013. And then I slowly let this one first employee, and I say first employee, if you're doing the math, if I've had a business for 20 years, how did I have a first employee in 2013? It was my first full-time employee. I started letting her take responsibility for things, and she blew me away. And she was good at things that I wasn't good at.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be good at a nice little chunk of things, maybe a third of the things that you need to run a business, but I'm not even doing a third of those things anymore. So how do you do it? You have to let go of your ego.
Yeah. That's really great advice. How many employees do you have total?
Right now, there are 7. I had 14 before COVID. We have hundreds, probably thousands of contractors because we're an event and entertainment production company. So we're producing big events for Salesforce and Apple and Facebook. And so we have lighting companies. We work with artists, bands, headliners. So, I had $1 million payroll before COVID.
Wow.
That did not feel hard before COVID. It felt really hard when I had to let go half of them because I couldn't afford to cover that payroll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your day-to-day looks like at your company and kind of what you guys do?
Yeah. So day to day, they are responding to inquiries from people that are having parties, big events, mostly corporate. We do some social, and it'll be anything from, I have an event on January 25th. Can I get some entertainment? Then we have to ask them all the questions. Where is it? What's it about? How many people are coming? How much money do you have? But other than that, if somebody has a fully fledged RFP, then we go in and we help them thematically develop what they want to have people experience and enjoy. And we suggest everything from the venue to the caterer to the talent to the flow of the event. And we do something that's called in our world, it's called experience design, which is kind of like a layer over the event. It's maybe more of a customer journey. So the moment you hear about the event, we want it to be wow. We don't want someone just to get a boring, like not well-designed Eventbrite with no graphics, right? And then we want to continue that incredible experience, not even to the end of the event, but past it, so that people are saying about whatever event we're producing, that was the best event I've ever been to. And then that's all they think about for the rest of their lives. That's the goal.
Oh, that's so cool.
So cool.
How fun. And, lots of variety too.
Yes, always incredible variety. I have to say, there's a lot of emails. There's a lot of talking on the phone. So the glamour day to day isn't there, but the funny things that come out of our mouths are there. Like literally, I'm going to have to say, we had a client that wanted to do the Last Supper with body painted models as the 12 disciples and Jesus. I'm hearing this from my team. And this is the conversation we had. Katie, one of my employees, was like, what's the contingency plan if Jesus or one of the disciples gets COVID?
Right.
Oh,
and we've had that situation because we had a headline band, a very famous band, performing for a corporate client, and they were all going to get into a studio in Canada and live perform. But the lead singer, the most important person, tested positive that day.
Oh no.
Shoot.
So they had to really scramble, and the band got together and played, and then he was remote at home. This is the world we're living in now.
That industry in particular, I can't even imagine navigating under the circumstances that we've had the past couple of years, but I bet it feels probably pretty good to have gone through some of that, because I would truly feel like you could conquer the world after going.
Oh yeah, we can do anything now. Nothing's going to keep us down.
I have to ask, just because I think that whole industry sounds so fun. What has been your favorite event that you guys have done?
Oh, we've had so many colorful, over the top events that this is going to sound horrible. They kind of blend together.
Yeah.
But one of my clients had Harry Connick Jr. come in with his band for her birthday. And I think that was pretty cool. She didn't tell anybody that he was coming. And I had to walk him, like escort him into the room. They all had put their phones in a basket because there's no photography, no phone ringing. And they thought for a minute he was an impersonator.
Oh,
that was funny.
They're like, there's no way he's here right now.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. So kind of just circling back and bringing everything to, a whole, what do you think is your definition of ultimate success? I mean, what do you really think that looks like for you?
Okay, so here is the quippy version, and that is I get to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the more mature answer is that I get to be as creative as I want to be in business. And so whatever I dream, whatever I can create, whatever I concoct, I can make happen because I have the experience, I have the relationships, and I have the access and the assets to do that now.
Mm-hmm.
That is so fun.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Now, I will also say I'm not a jet set person. I'm not buying Louis Vuitton or Versace clothing. It's not important to me. I don't need to fly private to Belize. Like I have a pretty simple life and that's who I am. And that's, like for me, going out on a kayak on the water on the weekends is like heaven on earth, but it doesn't have to be like whitewater kayaking or kayaking in a, I'm kind of a homebody. So it's pretty easy for me to have that.
But to have something you're proud of every day and that you feel like you have, complete control and buy into, that is really awesome. And
having complete control over your time too, having stability and, really being able to structure your life is huge. Yeah. I think that is the ultimate goal.
Very inspirational and something we ask all of our guests, because we do want to hear the amazing inspiration that I think everyone who comes onto our podcast holds is, what does a queen mean to you?
A queen means success, power, and self-confidence, not having to look outside of yourself for anything.
I love that.
Yes. You should put that in your office somewhere. I think that was a great thing to look at.
Your desk. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, give us a last little, just kind of overview of, what our listeners can expect from your book and also what they can kind of look to you for, because we barely hit the tip of the iceberg with you today. So I know there's still a lot of gold that you have to offer. So tell our listeners kind of what they can expect, how they can connect with you.
I think that anyone reading this book that is drawn to it is going to love it. It's beautifully written. And that is because I had an incredible editor. It reads kind of like fiction. So most what I'm hearing from people is I couldn't put it down. And it will teach you about being an entrepreneur and about how to be successful without being prescriptive. It's not a how-to book. You don't have to get your pen and paper out and take notes. It will impact you in some way, depending on where you are on your own journey. If you're, depending on where you are, it might be just a tiny bit. And sometimes somebody might read it and go, my aha moment is right here. Right. So I think that. And then I'm teaching people how to write their own story and write their own memoir, publish and market it now, because I've been in this industry, which is really messed up, by the way. The publishing industry is so archaic and backwards and slow. And so, I'm just going to single-handed reinvent it.
Look at you.
I love
Yes.
it. Well, we're so excited to read your book. We will promote it. We can't wait for March. And congratulations. That is huge.
So
Thank
exciting.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, so where can people find you? How can they connect with you? And we'll share all that
about
too.
that.
Yeah.
So the book is called Relentless, Homeless Teen to Achieving the Entrepreneur Dream. You can go to official natashamiller.com and there's a tab there about the book. And then you can read all about me and what I can do for you.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, we'll link all that. And
thank you so much. This was so
great
fun.
to meet you.
Yeah.
This was so much fun. Thank you.
So much fun. Thank you. We, like I said, stay in touch. We would love to connect with you more.
Cool.
Okay, awesome.
Bye.
Have a good rest of the night. Bye.
You too.